Hello. Just had a passing thought and thought I'd make a video about it. Um, with all this craziness going on around the world these days, you know, the mis and disinformation being rampant, and a few other things I've learned since, those very first forms of control um, videos that I made. I never touch much on religion because, uh, frankly, I've never been a religious man. Um, but have nothing against religious people. You know, whatever floats your boat. You know, is what I say. At any rate, um, they misdirect so much that I never really got to thinking about it too much until, and I don't even know why this thought hit me, but uh, I was sitting here, and I know I'm interrupting a different uh, uh, topic that I'm talking about, but I just had to get this thought on here. We as spirit beings, you know, in one shape or form, are looking for answers that, quite frankly, probably never have a serious answer to. It's kind of like, when you and your spouse split up, and um, you ask why, you'll never get an answer why. Sort of kind of like that, put in a context that maybe is a little more understandable. But point being, religion, you know, I've been listening to, a few different, you know, takes on it, a couple different opinions on a couple different YouTube channels, and which made me do some reading. And I've looked really deep into, Sumerian text, um, read the Adam and Eve story, um, which bears nothing at all on religion. But this might make a lot of people mad, but um, why would there be so many different, you know, forms of religion take the same story and tweak it to make their own? I keep asking myself that. And and about the only thing I can come up with is I got to thinking about how much revenue that religion generates. And each religion has tweaked itself in some shape or form to separate itself in one way or another from the next, to basically get a piece of that pie. Now, being that, if that's the case, in my mind's eye, I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, in order to make that money, first you have to get people to believe in and be indoctrinated into your particular genre of religion. Now, not many people really uh, look into and try to find the roots from which their particular faction grew from. Now, they just go into church and listen to a pastor, or reverend, or preacher, or priest, whatnot, whatever you want to call them, rabbi, you know, and they take the word out of the book, the Bible, New Testament, Old Testament, Quran, um, you name it, whatever the book may be, and they take it as fact. And I wonder, I guess I don't understand how a mind can be so weak to just, you know, take something on faith. Me and the word faith have always had a problem. I've never, as far as I know, I've never been, baptized in any way, shape, or form. Um, my parents never went to church. Matter of fact, you know, I tried Catholicism, Catholics, Pentecostal, just to, I guess, curious. But in the end, Catholic was more of a ritual, and then Pentecostal was merely a show. How well the show could the pastor put on, but it all boiled down to that plate being passed around and collecting that money. So, and in all case scenarios, all the religions tweak and indoctrinate the same story about Jesus, but where they tweaked it and went their own way, after you go through the body of what their belief is, they all end with the same, same ending, Revelations, end of the world, Armageddon, and it got to make me ask this question, what if, you know, all the religions say in the end that there'll be a great deception. A great deception. Now, if you take a look around, there's great deceptions everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's a great deception. They don't want to tell the truth about nothing. Not just in religion, being probably the greatest lie ever told, but at the same time, you've got the misdirection and the lie, and the lying, and everywhere else too. So when a religious person is to look for that great deception, I bet you they're chasing their own tail. They're never going to find it because there's too many out there. Now, I got to thinking about it, And as I've said before, the way my mind works, deductive reasoning and simplify things. And I got to thinking that what if the Great Deception is, in fact, religion itself? What if the Great Deception is to get the masses in contract with a god or a religion that once the contract's made, it's a done deal? And the whole time, because that wouldn't that be the ultimate miss the disinformation campaign? Because religion's been pushed for a long time. And then in the end, if it were to flip, definitely nobody's going to believe that religion itself is the great deception. What if, you know, us free thinkers have it right, you know? That's a hell of a thought. And I don't even know why I thought about it. To be honest with you, I was sitting here and it just, you know, my mind was wandering and it popped in there. The church would know about this and it would be a plan. And I think the emergence of government and church, it may have really been what got me to thinking about it. I mean, forget about, you know, mis and disinformation to keep us divided, even though it does. I was thinking that was the greatest reason for it. But now I'm thinking, what if what if it wasn't the Russians that invented it? What if it was, excuse me, literally the church? And they knew that someday the time would come when man wasn't going to accept the lie simply because, you know, because with no proof, the truth will eventually come out and the lie will eventually be suppressed. So that would make them have to flip the narrative, you know. So I don't know. I just wanted to, you know, and back in the World War II, when Hitler, you know, the Holocaust happened with all the Jesuits. Uh, what would make a man want to kill that many people? I mean, A, totally insane, or B, the man knew something. What that could have been, I have no clue. but maybe he knew something about a race of people that, was uh, in the works and was going to take a while to execute. And that plan is being executed today. I mean, the everything is about the Middle East, and the Jews are basically, in Israel or whatnot, Jerusalem, and I'm not real wise on all of it because I've never been indoctrinated into any of them to really um, speak intelligently about the race of people, but I do know that they're the richest people in the world, and uh, there is depopulation across the world going on a scale that's makes the Holocaust look like Disneyland. So is that the Great Deception? You know, we're gonna find out. What some people may have learned a long time ago, um, and was proactively trying to stop it, but uh, by all means, not condoning anything. I'm just merely free thinking and saying what's on my mind and what maybe a lot of other people won't say. Um, but if you take into consideration, you know, um, everything's starting to go downhill with 9/11. I don't believe that that's really when everything started going down. I think everything started going downhill during World War II. And it's a known fact that Prescott Bush funded Hitler. Then, later on down the timeline, um, George Herbert Walker Bush was the only man on the planet, probably, that didn't know where he was at the day Kennedy was assassinated. And then Prescott's grandson, in my opinion, orchestrated the Twin Tower disaster. That's a hell of a grandfather, son, grandson trio there. Anyway, uh, I'm thinking that really am thinking that religion is the great deception to get you indoctrinated in contract with something that is not in your best interest. Um, I'm sorry to all the religious people out there if I've offended you. Um, and but I am not sorry for my opinion and my view on the subject. So religion is no, it's the control, it's the control mechanism that's falling apart the quickest right now. And the reason why is because there's no there's no weight behind, there's no way for them to prove, and thus people are starting to, call it for what it is, bullshit. So anyway, um, things go so far back, and we'll probably never know, but maybe we're not meant to know until, you know, we take that trip. When we take that trip, then that's, you know, when our origins be known to us, you know? And how anyway, if I was to join, denomination or a faction or whatnot, my luck would go, you know, say I chose to be a, you know, um, Protestant, and I died and got to them heavenly gates, and say, yeah, here I am, God. God would probably look at me and say, sorry, Mr. Eisenhower, but you chose the wrong damn religion. We're only taking Catholics today. Down you go. Anyway, um, yeah, I have more faith in reason than faith. But at any rate, food for thought, and yeah, what if it is the Great Deception? Peace out.